Order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mayor Gerardo Sanchez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Africa Luna Carrasco,
Present.
Councilmember Mario Buchanan Jr.,
Present.
Councilmember Luis Cabrera,
Present.
Councilmember Jose Ponce,
Present.
Councilmember Matias Rosales,
Present.
Councilmember Gloria Torres.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we have time for the Pledge of Allegiance? Councilmember Vice Mayor, could you lead us a Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to go ahead with the discussion possible action on all matters regarding Resolution 2193, a resolution of the Mayor, City Council of the City of San Luis, Arizona, authorizing and directing and entering into a development agreement between Comité Bienestar and Company to provide for the development of public infrastructure improvements along North 4th Avenue. Mr. Elogio Vera or Glenn, who's going to be first?
I guess I'll start explain this first, and then Elohio is here and Kevin Dahl is here to be able to back up on the engineering. If you will, with respect to the Valley View Apartments, in the engineering work of Kevin Dahl, it became determined that you need to do some major work on 4th Avenue, which is to, as you know, the road goes over the mesa and down the hill, to cut into that slope to improve the line of sight and to lower the slope on that road. To do that is interesting construction work that involves that plus, if you will, relocation of a water line. The condition of the roadway is such that that for proper public safety, to have a well-built road, you would want to be lowering that grade anyways, with or without Valley View Apartments. With the Valley View Apartments and where their driveways are located, you really do have to do it. And so the question then becomes, what's fair? For Valley View Apartments, they are working on a low-income housing tax credit program, which means a fixed budget and fixed set of plans on a project approved by the state of Arizona, and they have no real wiggle room here. Also problematic here as well is they need building permits, at least for the apartments themselves, to be issued, and they need it in short order, hence the special meeting tonight. We are doing two things. We are providing for those road improvements, and they get that done within their budget. We are setting what assurances need to be posted for infrastructure. That allows us to be able to issue the permits within time frames that they need to keep the project going. For the cost of the road, it will be anywhere between $350,000 to upwards of $500,000 by Kevin's engineer's cost estimate. What we have done is in this form of agreement, the meat is at section 2.4, where it says that the city will be responsible to relocate the water line and to pay the sum of $160,000 toward the design and development of all of the improvements. The rest is on Conitec. And so we're asking you tonight to contribute an extra $160,000 toward the road improvements on 4th Avenue. We are improving a public street out there. The rest of this I will leave to Elohio and to Kevin.
Before you leave, Glenn, you mentioned that it's something that we need to do. I just want to clarify that this was created by them, not by us. Obviously. I just want to clarify this. Because
well, it's actually created by both.
Well, actually, yeah, we both agreed, but we did not know we had to do that extra expense.
we did not know about this extra expense, that's true. But is this an improvement that should be done for Fourth Avenue anyway?
Eventually, yes.
Yes, it is. It should be done for Fourth Avenue anyways, with or without these apartments. Hence, the appropriateness for us to contribute.
Okay, so are we under the understanding that they're gonna dish out 190,000?
They may end up dishing out more than 190,000.
Okay, I just wanna make sure we don't end up
We're
paying.
putting a hard ceiling on what we're doing.
I just want to make clear, exactly, I want to make sure we're very clear about that, because we're already contributing over, what was it, 100,000,
Right.
in addition to the 160,000?
That's been emphasized over and over again, and it's in this contract, that's a hard ceiling, and all the rest of the improvements, if there's cost overruns, whatever they are, is on them.
I just want to be very clear about that.
Yes.
Mr.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Unfortunately, I didn't get an exhibit as far as what the proposed improvements are, but yeah, the site distance coming up the hill will be improved to what's acceptable for design standards for a collector road.
Here's the exhibit.
No, but actually something visual for them to see the footprint of the work. But it actually, what it will do, it will actually get rid of that jog coming up the hill. The jog will be on top once you are coming onto level ground. And then it will provide sidewalk on the west side, all the way coming down the hill, connect to the Las Brisas sidewalk. It will also take care of drainage for, right now, the way it works, every time it rains, we have to go and grade the west side because the water tends to go and create erosion. They'll be adding a storm drain system to collect the water and discharge it to the, I think they're working with the water users to discharge it to the dry East Main Canal. So overall, the project is contributing or doing quite a bit of improvements to the area. But the working together, we will help resolve this visibility issue that we currently have. Yes, the site stairs, the project stairs, we can probably push to try and get them to do everything, but it will be benefiting both the city and them as well. And it'll create, like I mentioned, it'll be providing a solution to the safety of the general public.
And this money is coming from where?
That's something that's not determined in today's council meeting. We decided when we were putting the item together that we need to really look into where we're gonna get this money from, whether it's gonna be from projects that are moving slower than normal or eliminating some expense. That's not included in the item. We didn't even think it was reasonable to put council in that position to try and decide where it's coming from immediately. So yeah, we don't have a identified where it's coming from. We have some ideas. We discussed it with Monica. We just didn't think it was too short of order to try and say, this is what we're gonna do, or these are the options for council to discuss. We can bring it back and discuss it down in the future. The commitment really comes down to establishing that the city is on board with this expense. And then the second is that they're posting these assurances so that the permit can be issued. Those are the two critical things for them to be able to get their permit. Without the assurances, we don't issue the permit.
Any questions from council?
I have a question. On this development agreement, do we have a traffic study listed? Is that
So as part of the project, we did require a traffic study. We did require a visibility or site distance analysis, which is the one that determined that the hill has to come down. The traffic study came back saying that really what we look at the traffic study is really whether they need turn lanes into the new development or not. So that was provided. They actually amended a current traffic study that was done for 4th Avenue and Union on those two intersections. So it's actually looking at the entire corridor from Cesar Chavez to down the hill. So it was done and it was reviewed and we're fine with the study.
May I add, Mayor?
Yes, please.
I understand your frustration, Mayor, in regards to this is something we weren't expecting, but I think all of us, at least, I know Mario has brought this out in the past, Ms. Carrasco, the need to improve this hill, because eventually when we get down to the county 22nd, that's gonna be also a part of this side of view. And if I'm understanding correctly, this is also gonna improve the ingress and egress of the public work yard as well?
It will,
Somewhat.
it will impact, we still haven't figured that one out, it needs
Okay.
to be looked at. If it was only vehicles and trailers, I mean, just a pulling trailer, pull behind trailers, it's sort of simple. But we do have a semi-truck that we use for our community cleanup, and that's the one that we're gonna be relying on the engineer of record to help us resolve or look at the turning movements for that driveway. But part of it is, this would be relocating the driveway north to align with one of the driveways into the new development. That way, we don't have an offset intersection, and people are trying to keep an eye for two different locations. It's the same intersection, and it's safer for everyone.
Where does the owner that owns a parcel right behind the public work yard, which is Curtis, I believe? How does
It
this
is
affect-
Curtis.
How does this affect him, or down the road, will there be some kind of payback agreement? Because we are gonna be improving most likely that, or no, or not yet?
I think that driveway will still have, it won't quite meet the visibility requirements for that driveway. It will improve, however, the current conditions. So,
So- Whoever buys that parcel and decides to do something, that's where that factor would come into down the road.
yes, whoever buys that parcel will have to look at whether right in, right out, it's hard to say how they want to develop it. But just to be able to meet the site distance for that one, I mean, we would have to cut, I'm not sure how much more for how long on that curb.
And it's just to close off, I mean, I've walked that avenue, I mean, I know Mr. Vice Mayor has done that too. And this is a dangerous walk when you're walking down the hill with no sidewalk and all that. So, in the words of the mayor, I think this is one of those unexpected but low cost, high impact for the community that probably will improve, and it is a needed improvement. Downside, we weren't expecting it. Now is finding where the money is gonna come from. But I think it's something that's gonna improve. And it's a needed thing there, especially walking down and all the traffic that's coming up with the 95 traffic and all that. It's something that we're gonna have to do eventually, so fortunately sooner than later. I mean,
And we never really did we had never had done the actual, the visibility, or site distance analysis on it. We knew it's sort of uncomfortable coming up, because you have both the vertical change and then the horizontal change at the same time. But, what Kevin put together, or Bob Robinson Associates put together, is sort of, it shows clearly what the issue is, and it's something that needs to be addressed. It's actually unexpected, but it does provide cost savings versus we're doing the entire project on our own.
Are there any grants or funds available or safety factors from YMPO in regards to this?
There would be, it would be just a delay, 4 or 5 years down the road.
That'd be on the tip or something like that? That's-
Right, it needs to make to the tip, get it designed, and then wait for the funds, and usually it's about a 5-year cycle.
I was wondering if there was something like what they did on Cesar Chavez with the safety, we could tap into $25,000-$30,000 for that kind of help, to help with the burden, I mean, if it's possible.
There could be, usually, and that's what we were able to do at Rumble Strip. If there is some funds in that pot of money of the highway safety funds, and nobody's using them, we would be able to try it and use them, and that could be an option.
Just keep
And
those
that
op-
could still be an option, we just don't have it at this time.
just keep all options open.
Right, that is true.
I do agree that this project needs to be done, but it's just the whole hurriness, the whole, at the last minute, we need this or we're not gonna get those permits. The fact is, obviously, improvements need to happen to that road, obviously. But there has to be understanding that the city is trying to work with them. And the thing is, and I don't have no problem investing $160,000, and I do realize that it's a minimal investment with higher impact. But I just want to make sure that these surprises and not knowing where the money's coming from becomes an issue. And the thing is, we're delaying some project, we're delaying something else for the benefit of this project. I just want that to be clear. And we need to move forward. This is a big plus for the city, but it also causes some delays in some of the other projects for the overall city. So for clarification, I do agree it needs to happen, and let's make it happen. So any more questions or concerns from council? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve and adopt resolution number 2193 and authorize any transfer of funds necessary to effectuate the development agreement approved by resolution number 2193.
Second. There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in
Ma-
favor?
Mayor, before you call motion, the word any funds are transfer or to be capped up to 160,000?
It would be need to be capped at 160,000.
So would you wish to amend?
Yes, so I'll reread the motion again.
There's a hard cap in the development agreement itself. So approving the resolution which approves the agreement, there's a cap already here.
So the resolution is tied to the agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, so making sure, because the word any,
Exactly. Any means a lot.
I never, I mean, we usually put a number there, so I just want to make sure.
I was trying to make any, modify the word transfer, because we'll have to transfer, likely have to transfer funds from one pot to another.
Different pots.
Yeah.
Not the amount. but
Yeah.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against?
I abstain for possible conflict of interest.
So noted. There's one abstain, and the motion carries. Thank you. Make it happen.
Thank you.
We'll now take a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
There's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Have a good evening. Stay safe, please. Thank you.